In League One, Gillingham are rated as 14-1 outsiders to go up. Boss Peter Taylor has a reputation for developing young players, and there looks certain to be several of them in the team that travels to MK Dons.
We might even be too young at the minute, Neil, to be honest with you. What I like about us this year at the minute is that there's players here that I think have all got a point to prove. They've all got a bit that they're thinking this is another step up the ladder of their careers. So I think we're a bit more serious.
League One team should have learned by now not to give Cody MacDonald a sight of goal. 17 for the Gills last season. The opener here on 7 minutes as he and his team made a terrific start. MK Dons found him too hot to handle. Goalkeeper David Martin clumsy when faced with MacDonald. The outcome, an inevitable penalty. Put away by the composed Danny Kedwell. An opening day shock was looming. But how often does a goal before the break change a game's flow? This one an own goal off the head of Courtney Howes. Goalkeeper Stuart Nelson suffered a suspected broken thumb. Replacement Glenn Morris came on at half-time and was beaten by the Dons' Will Grigg. A debut goal for him tied the game at 2-2. 2 minutes later, and the home side led for the first time. Another new man, Kyle McFadzean's leap and header. Comeback complete. A day which began so well ended with a second own goal by Gillingham. This time Leon Legg, the fall guy. Harsh on the Gills, deserved was the home verdict.
Yeovil manager Gary Johnson criticised some of his players for lacking desire and passion, and you'd have to say neither quality was in plentiful supply when Brennan Dickinson gave Gillingham the lead midway through the first half. But Yeovil, who were well beaten by Doncaster at the weekend, stepped it up ahead of the interval, with Kiefer Moore bursting to the edge of the box before bringing a sharp low save out of Glenn Morris in the Gillingham goal. Morris, though, was left helpless 11 minutes into the second half. Simon Gillett firing a superb equaliser. Now it was game on. But in the space of just over 3 minutes, this tie drifted away from the Glovers. First, Aaron Morris found himself in acres of space to restore the Gillingham lead. And then ill-discipline cost the home side dear. Seth Nana-Tomasi lunging in on Luke Norris, and the referee's red card pretty well ended any chance of a comeback for Yeovil.
A second meeting in 5 days between these teams. On Tuesday, Gillingham won 2-1 in Somerset in the Capital One Cup. At that stage, Stephen Bywater was still a Millwall player, but the former West Ham goalkeeper made a positive initial impression to his loan spell by saving Kiefer Moore's first-half penalty. From somewhat further out, Gillingham's Joe Martin was considerably more effective. The left foot of the former Tottenham trainee, one of League One's more consistent set-piece threats. The Gills surrendered a 2-goal lead in going down at MK Dons first time out. There was to be no such carelessness here, not from them anyway. Yeovil defender Nathan Smith was pretty clumsy in halting Aaron Morris. Danny Kedwell's penalty was almost identical to Moore's first half failure. The one crucial difference being that keeper Chris Wheel couldn't gather it cleanly, so Kedwell still imprinted his name in the morning papers.
I was pleased because I think that, to be fair to Yeovil, they started a bit direct and very positive, and I felt that we didn't have a good start. Then all of a sudden they get the penalty. Thankfully we save it, but I felt as though the longer the game went on, we got better.
Gillingham were looking for a third successive win in all competitions as they entertained Swindon and were helped by visiting keeper Wes Fodringham. His clearance rebounded, allowing Danny Kedwell to continue his record of scoring in every league game so far this season. Swindon boss Mark Cooper thought his side should have had the game won by half-time. Such was their superiority in the first half. As it was, they were only level just before the break. Andy Williams equalising with his first league goal in almost 18 months. The Gills were back ahead just after the restart, thanks to teenager Courtney Howes, who claimed his first goal since signing on loan from Wolves. But in the final minutes, Swindon equalised. Rafael Branco's cross, too hot for keeper Stephen Bywater, whose own goal provoked angry words between the two managers, culminating in Peter Taylor being sent to the stands.
I'm quietly amazed, and so I'd like to find out why. And because all I'd done was say to Mark and Hesse to calm down, and then I went to their assistant to say calm down, and then I got sent off. So, and there's Mark and Hesse still watching the game. I honestly can't work that.
After a wobbly start, Barnsley are warming to the task nicely. 2 goals inside half an hour set them on their way, with Conor Hourihane striking the first with an absolute beauty. The home side's second was slightly less spectacular, but no less effective. Sam Winnall doing the damage with a fine header to leave Gillingham with a mountain to climb. And there was to be no let-up after the break. 19-year-old Devante Cole is the son of former England and Manchester United striker Andy. He's just arrived on loan from Manchester City, but clearly shares his dad's eye for goal. Gillingham tried to respond and they got their reward when they won a penalty after Jermaine McGlashan was sent tumbling. That gave Danny Kedwell the chance to notch his 4th goal of the season, which he did, eventually. But the home side were in no mood to surrender any further ground. Substitute Dale Jennings tried to make his bid for goal of the season, but Stephen Bywater was equal to the task. But the Gills keeper could do nothing as Jennings celebrated his return from suspension with Barnsley's 4th on 76 minutes. Even though a first home win of the season was secure, Barnsley were unlucky not to make it 5. Kane Hemmings couldn't quite find the target, but the Oakwell faithful could have no complaints on a job well done.
This was Gabriel Obertan's first Newcastle start for 17 months. No signs of rust as his cross was turned in by the luckless John Egan, a defender who'd spent 5 years on the books at Sunderland. Gillingham faced the Magpies only once previously, 37 years ago. Matt Fish not too far away with their best first-half effort. Sadio Haidara had never scored for Newcastle, or before that for Nancy. When he hit shots as well as this, he won't have to wait too much longer. Luke Norris was brought on and came close to forcing extra time. Tim Krul didn't have much to do, but this save ensured the game was won.
After losing heavily at Barnsley last weekend to a series of wonder goals, Gillingham's players had clearly been keeping notes, especially Bradley Dack, who scored a beauty of his own on 18 minutes. Peter Taylor's side had only won once at home since the start of the season, but they were in the mood to entertain, especially Cody MacDonald, who was unlucky to find Ben Garrett in top form. Having struggled for much of last season, Crewe are finding life difficult again this campaign, especially at the back. Appropriately, the 13th league goal they've conceded this month was slightly unlucky, but as MacDonald will tell you, they all count. Crewe fans are still waiting for their first league points, but they did at least test the Gills keeper Stephen Bywater. Brad Inman doing his best, but Gillingham were just too good.
Peterborough go top after picking up their 3rd straight away victory. Capital One Cup giant killers MK Dons and Bradford both enjoyed wins to round off memorable weeks for the clubs to move them to 3rd and 4th respectively. Crewe are bottom after slipping to a 5th straight defeat, their worst start now to a league season in 33 years.
Gillingham went ahead early in their trip to Stevenage with a first-half penalty from Luke Norris in the 17th minute. And the visitors held on throughout the second half, even when they were reduced to 10 men. Gavin Hoyt was given a red card after a late challenge on Stevenage's Rory Deacon. Despite several missed opportunities in the second half, including a flying header from Luke Norris, Gillingham also booked their place in the next round. Peter Whittlesey, BBC South East Today.
A night. What a night for Coventry City Football Club. What a night for the city of Coventry as a whole. Connor Thomas. Haynes. Ryan Haynes, who has Tukai coming to the near post. There's Newbley! Welcome home! Fred Newbley on his debut. Coventry 1, Gillingham 0.
Well, welcome home indeed. What a start it is for him. Spoke about replacing the goals of Clark and Wilson. He's got every right to celebrate and enjoy. And listen to the crowd. They're back and celebrating a home goal. And what a goal as well.
And the save from Allsop as John Egan rose to head it goalwards. Well, Fleck spotting the keeper off his line. Unbelievable. What an effort. So close to embarrassing Stephen Bywater. That was unbelievably magnificent. Deserved the goal. I mean, that is just inches, isn't it, away from being one of the goals of the century. Outstanding effort. Angle ball, which will fall for Antonio German. 5 in the middle here for Gillingham. Oh, it's been missed by Allsop. Loose at the far post. Jordan Clark digs it out. Well, I don't know if somebody up there is smiling down on Coventry and saying, well, this is an occasion where, under all circumstances, they have to win, because that is massive, massive good fortune that they have just enjoyed there. It really is. A win is always sweet, but a win for Coventry City and Stephen Pressley on a night like this, in a place like this, well, it is nectar from the heavens.
A triumph of sorts for Gillingham, their first point away from home this season. It might have been all 3 at Oldham, but Cody MacDonald had his shot saved at point-blank range by Paul Chubka. Without top scorer Jonathan Fort, Oldham lacked presence in front of goal. Substitute Amari Morgan-Smith missed this one. Fort surely wouldn't have.
Peterborough lost ground on the leaders Bristol City with this defeat at Gillingham. Bradley Dack was denied by Ben Alnwick, but Jake Hessenthaler supplied Cody MacDonald, and then Alnwick was beaten. Peterborough equalised just before half-time through John Taylor's first posh goal since his summer move from Shrewsbury, although it did have a touch of fortune about it. But with 5 minutes left, Jermaine McGlashan pressured Christian Burgess, who was penalised for handball, and he knew it. MacDonald scored his second of the night to seal the win, despite Alnwick getting a hand on his penalty.
After a 4-0 thumping at Rochdale, Walsall boss Dean Smith demanded a response. James Baxendale created an opening for Ashley Grimes, but his effort made life too easy for Gills keeper Stephen Bywater. A brace from Cody MacDonald secured the Kent club a notable victory over Peterborough in midweek. He missed the target with this effort, and Luke Norris was injured as he raced in at the far post. Goalless at Priestfield.
None of the previous 10 league meetings between these two had produced a home win, and the trend looked like continuing when, for all their possession and chances, Sheffield United, and in this case Mark McNulty, couldn't find a way through a stubborn Gillingham defence. The Blades had no fewer than 27 shots, and even the woodwork was proving hard to avoid for Michael Higdon. So it's a major shock when Gillingham substitute Luke Norris conjured up a show-stopping volley to give the visitors an 83rd minute lead. It proved to be their only shot on target. But United are making a habit of late recoveries. With only 3 minutes left, Higdon stole in to equalise and put Gillingham on the back foot. Then in the dying seconds, Jamie Murphy went on a one-man rescue mission, weaving his way through the Gills defence for a dramatic winner in the 7th minute of added time.
I'm just disappointed that the boys have got nothing, because they couldn't have worked any harder, and the lateness of the goal was really disappointing.
Bristol City maintain their 5-point lead at the top of League One after a thrilling win over MK Dons. Peterborough and Swindon both move up a place after wins, with the Dons dropping to 4th. Sheffield United's late winner moves them up to 7th. Bottom club Crewe's home defeat to Colchester means they're now already 5 points adrift. The U's win moves them up to 20th. Managerless Leyton Orient's poor start to the season goes on. They drop to 19th and remain in search of their first home win of the campaign.
It's always good to see some old-fashioned wing play, and Stephen McLaughlin's run on the left to allow Jake Cassidy to set up the far post finish for Sean Harrod turned out to be one of the crucial moments of the match against Gillingham. To be fair, the Magpies rode their luck. Doug Loft, who'd yet to score for his new side, millimetres from what would have been a terrific Gillingham equaliser. You sense the home side needed a cushion, but after some delicate skill from Harrod, his shot on the turn was comfortably saved by Stephen Bywater. And it was left to the Notts County keeper Roy Carroll to put himself forward as the hero late on. Bradley Dack clipped by Lewis Lang, and Carroll, outstanding so far this season, flung himself to his right to keep out the Luke Norris spot kick and earn his side a second win in 4 days.
Well, Gillingham are through after they beat Colchester on penalties. Look at that from Dre Wright to give Colchester an early lead. Lovely hit. Brennan Dickinson equalised for Gillingham, though. Lovely skills. Shades of Luis Suarez, actually. Well, Colchester awarded a penalty after Gavin Massey was brought down. Sanchez Watt with the penalty. Gillingham got back into it early in the second half. Bradley Dack levelled things up, 2-2. And then Gillingham went ahead for the first time in the match. Antonio German with the goal. But with 3 minutes to go, Freddie Sears equalised for Colchester. And that meant we went to penalties. Gillingham keeper Stuart Nelson saved 3 of them. No, 2. Tom Eastman and George Moncur. And then he stepped up and scored the winning penalty. Gillingham through, all nice and casual. Even the players celebrating just jogged in. Come on, lads, show some enthusiasm.
Following 3 successive away games, Gillingham's biggest home crowd of the season arrived full of hope, and manager Peter Taylor also appeared happy and relaxed. Sadly, that all ended half an hour into the game, when this rash tackle from Gills skipper Doug Loft saw him shown a red card. It wasn't long before Scunthorpe exploited their numerical advantage, Paddy Madden calmly beating the Gills defence to score. Almost immediately, an incident with a water bottle saw the normally mild-mannered Taylor sent to the stands for the remainder of what turned out to be a bitterly disappointing game. A strangely static Gills defence then allowed Neil Bishop to powerfully head home from close range, and then in stoppage time, Gary McSheffrey comfortably outpaced the defence to seal a 3-0 win, which saw Peter Taylor trudging off with much to ponder.
Only one of Gillingham's 12 points had been picked up on the road, and they must have thought they were heading for another away defeat when Peter Vincenti nodded Rochdale in front midway through the first half. But when you've got a poacher of Cody McDonald's calibre in your ranks, you've always got a chance. And following a snapshot from Jermaine McGlashan, McDonald finished superbly from a tight angle to earn his side a deserved point.
Survived a scare when John Egan's header was cleared off the line by David Buchanan. The North End were able to inflict the Gills' 4th defeat in 5. This was a match when both teams also hit the crossbar, but Paul Gallagher was able to secure the visitors' 6th straight victory in all competitions.
You have to go back to mid-September for the last time Gillingham tasted success in League One. They were determined to put that right. 2 scoring opportunities fell the way of Brennan Dickinson, but he couldn't take either.
Crawley opened the scoring. Manager John Gregory called it their best away display of the campaign. They hadn't won on their league travel since the opening day. Gwion Edwards beat the advancing Stuart Nelson to give them hope of improving on that indifferent record. Edwards continued to pose a threat, and when he found Matt Harrold, the Gills were fortunate to survive a further setback. Leon Leggs had to wait a long time to get back on the score sheet. His first goal of the season, the defender on the end of a Jake Hessenthaler corner to level it up at 1-1. And Gillingham substitute Bradley Dack made an impression when he entered the fray. His run and shot only just stayed out, but they drop into the bottom four.
Bristol City extended their unbeaten start to 15. Preston are up to second after a 6th straight league victory. Scunthorpe, meanwhile, remain bottom as Mark Robbins chases his first win in charge. Coventry are up to 17th after their...
Eight goalless games into his MK Dons career, and Tom Hitchcock found himself loaned out to Fleetwood Town to get his groove back. It didn't take him long. His debut just 3 minutes old when he made the most of Stephen Bywater's awkward punch. The Gills keeper's kicking needs some work too. His clearance went straight to Anthony Sarcevic. The goalkeeper this time able to make amends, just. Highbury Stadium's a tough place to go. No home loss in the league now for 9 months.
In his brief tenure in charge of England, Peter Taylor once famously made David Beckham captain. Now back at Gillingham, it's fair to say this first-round defeat at home to Bristol City wasn't exactly a moment to treasure. Steve Cottrell's side underlined their prominence at the top of League One as Greg Cunningham's header set them on their way. He had a wonderful chance to double the lead. We won't dwell on the outcome. But J. Emmanuel Thomas did add a second with a rather more memorable effort from 25 yards out. Confidence flowing. Then a blink and you'll miss it moment. The referee was sharp-eyed enough to spot it first time round. The replay helps the rest of us, clearly showing Aidan Flint's arm raised. Danny Kedwell converted the late penalty for Gillingham, but Bristol City emerged unscathed and still remarkably unbeaten in League and FA Cup.
Gillingham are into the semis after they beat Crawley 2-1. Crawley were awarded a penalty when Gwion Edwards was brought down. Referee in no doubt. Isel McLeod crept up on the ball. Still scored though, 1-0. Well, Gillingham then had Joe Martin sent off in the second half for an off-the-ball incident with McLeod. Away he went. But then how about this? Despite being down to 10, Gillingham substitute Jermaine McGlashan equalised. And just 2 minutes from time, Gillingham scored the winner. Doug Loft with it.
Gillingham midfielder Jermaine McGlashan tweeted this in the week. Here we are. If anybody finds the ball I somehow blazed over from underneath the goal, let me know. I don't think I've witnessed a miss as bad as mine. Time to take a trip to the checkertrade.com stadium.
Taxi for McGlashan.
Taxi!
Taxi is filmed in front of a live stadium.
A scrap at Priestfield, where Gillingham followed up last weekend's cup win with their first in the league since mid-September. But it didn't go smoothly. They won an early penalty when Scott Cuthbert fouled Brennan Dickinson. Danny Kedwell took the spot kick, but Adam Legdin saved brilliantly and coolly held on to the ball. So all the goals came in the second half. First, another penalty. Just 2 minutes after the restart, Adam Chickson fouled Josh Wright, according to referee Darren Dedman. Gunvito Plasmati took the penalty. And that's how you put them away. The Gills equalised 7 minutes later. Jake Hessenthaler crossed Leon Legg with the first of two headers that his boss Peter Taylor described as outstanding. That wasn't the word Taylor's opposite number, Mauro Milanese, used to describe Orient's defending from set pieces. In the 74th minute, Hessenthaler delivered again. Legg scored again. 3 in 5 games for the big defender. And what a popular one it proved to be. But 90 seconds after celebrating that goal, the home side were reduced to 10 men. Michael Doughty had already been booked when he threw the ball away. Mr. Deadman understandably saw this as ungentlemanly conduct. What a way to be sent off. They would face the last 15 minutes plus stoppage time, a man down. And the 8.5 minutes of added time was certainly eventful. With 93 minutes gone, Cuthbert found sub Chris Dagnall, and his 4th goal of the season was Orient's equaliser. But a Gillingham sub had the last word. It was Dickinson who delivered another set piece, and Cody McDonald snatched the winner to the absolute delight of the home support. Just spare a thought for anyone who left early to beat the traffic.
Gillingham hadn't won 3 in a row for over 2 years. That wait continues. Bradford City was soon into their stride. Billy Knott almost forced a breakthrough. Leon Legg scored twice for the Gills last time out. Unfortunately, on this occasion, he put through his own net. Andy Halliday's cross and Legg's best efforts to clear ended in heartbreak. The single goal wasn't enough for a side who were on the back of a first league success in 6. They had chances to make sure of the points. One of the better opportunities fell the way of substitute James Hansen, but he went unrewarded. Gillingham left it late, still to triumph on their league travels, but at least they claimed the point. Peter Taylor, up against the club he used to manage, saw Antonio German bundle the ball home deep in stoppage time.
Danny and Gesson's Football League tour sees Port Vale his 9th English club at the age of 27. His first league goal for his latest employer was impressively taken. Gillingham in a serious rut, 1 win in 10. Not that you tell from the quality of their equaliser, John Egan's first for the club and just the 2nd of his career. If that was a collector's item, its value was soon on the wane as the big centre-back added another. Easy this goal-scoring lark. But could the Gills see it through? With added time fast approaching, Vale had the home team hemmed in. Pinball at Priestfield. The crossbar kept out Lewis Dodds. 4 minutes into added time, surely the final whistle would save the Gillingham team visibly on the ropes. Michael Brown took aim. A deflection saw the ball slip through Stuart Nelson's grasp, and with it, 2 drop points.
I felt as though we had a chance to get a 3rd goal. We created some good chances second half, but we didn't take enough of them. So that's why it was always a nervous finish. But and in that nervous finish, there was a goal that normally we would.
They stay top of League One, as they have done for the past 10 weeks after returning to winning ways at Peterborough. The 3 teams directly below them also won, which means only 5 points now separate the top 4. Oldham's first away win since August moves them to 6th. Crewe remain bottom despite their points. Scunthorpe are up to 21st after back-to-back away wins. The Iron were the only side in the bottom half of the table to pick up.
Gillingham have made it to the Southern Area final of the Johnston's Paint Trophy. They did it with a 1-0 victory over Leyton Orient. John Egan headed home his 3rd goal in a week on 79 minutes. Gillingham will face Bristol City or Coventry in the Southern final.
Gillingham had yet to win away in the league. That unwanted record finally went. Luke Norris was the standout performer with both their goals at the Keepmoat. They'd only taken 3 points on the road from 9 games, but it all changed as Norris weighed in with his 2nd of the match. Doncaster hadn't scored in 4 home fixtures. Rhys Wabara thought he'd ended that run, only for his header to come back off the crossbar. Curtis Main reduced the deficit in stoppage time. Too little, too late to change the outcome. Theo Robinson was brought down inside the area, and the resulting penalty was taken by Main. Successfully converted, but Gillingham had done enough to end that long wait for an away victory. Gillingham were unbeaten in 6 in all competitions. Chesterfield's away record needed to improve. Sam Klukas gave the Spireites the advantage at the midway point of the first half. Homekeeper Stuart Nelson was unable to intervene. And it got better when Leon Legg put through his own net and Chesterfield looked to have a winning platform. Tendai Darwikwa's driven cross was always likely to cause confusion, and Legg's best efforts to clear the ball ended in embarrassment. The Gills' comeback was underway when top scorer Cody MacDonald made the most of the opportunity. The striker, who'd been named among the substitutes and with a point to prove, reduced the arrears. When John Egan found the necessary finish minutes later, this game was back in the balance, his 4th in as many matches. Jimmy Ryan won it for Chesterfield, and for a club who hadn't tasted success in 7 away league games, a much-needed result. His volley was perfectly struck, and it guaranteed maximum points.
I've got to say, I was impressed with Chesterfield. I thought they really worked hard as a unit, and they made it very difficult for us, and they broke out really well. But I felt maybe late in the game, when we got the equaliser, I felt then we was looking better than them. And so I was impressed with them. I felt as though we could have done better maybe for the first hour, but after that we done better.
Colchester off the bottom on goal difference only after a home defeat against fellow strugglers Gillingham. Joe Martin's excellent strike made it 1-0 to the visitors. Cody MacDonald set up Bradley Dack to make it 2, still inside the first half. Half-time sub Sami Schmorik's ball one back for Colchester, but they've lost their last 4 home games in the league now.
The Robins were 2-1 winners in the FA Cup here last month, and they were on their way to another victory over the Gills 34 minutes in. Aidan Flint put them ahead, although Matt Smith claimed he got the final touch on his header. There was no doubt that Smith bagged their second, though, just 10 minutes later, as he steered in Greg Cunningham's cross. It's been far from home sweet home for Peter Taylor's side of late, with Gillingham managing just 1 win in their last 7 league games on their own patch. But they did get back into it briefly when the quality of Cody MacDonald's run was matched by his finish just after the break. However, the Robins restored their 2-goal cushion just 8 minutes later through a cracker from Scott Wagstaff, who had a handful of Gillingham supporting mates in attendance, as City made it 6 wins in their last 7 games in all competitions.
I think that we played very, very well today. You know, we've played like that a lot of this season. You know, in League One, you don't quite get the exposure that you get maybe in the Championship and certainly in the Premier League, understandably. But we've played like that a lot this season, and that's how I want us to play. You know, we have a real good brand of football. The boys understand. We play a formation that's different to most teams, and we're good in it. We're good in it, and we were good.
City remain top of League One after a 14th win. They only managed 13 in the whole of last season. Swindon are up to 2nd after their 7th win in 8. MK Dons dropped to 4th after their first defeat in 13 and 1st at home since September. Yeovil, meanwhile, remain bottom ahead of their relegation battle with Leyton Orient. Crawley climb out of the relegation zone after their goalless home draw against fellow strugglers Colchester. Crewe moved to 21st after taking 7 points from the last 3 games.
Gillingham Football Club have sacked their manager Peter Taylor. The Gills are in danger of relegation after just 6 wins in 23 league games. The chairman, Paul Scally, says the club needs a younger, more flamboyant manager.
Meanwhile, Gillingham are now looking for a new manager, with the League One side sacking Peter Taylor today after 14 months at the helm. He lost just 2 of his last 9 matches in all competitions.
I think we all thought that Peter Taylor would be given time to make some changes during the January window, but it's been coming now really for 2 or 3 months, I think. Unfortunately, Peter seems to have lost an element of the home support. Anything goes wrong, and there's elements of the crowd immediately on the players' back and on Peter Taylor's back personally.
Former boss Andy Hessenthaler will take charge of the Gills against Port Vale on Saturday.
Having sacked Peter Taylor last Wednesday, Andy Hessenthaler took caretaker charge of Gillingham at Vale Park and saw his side fall behind after Ben Williamson outpaced Aaron Morris and squeezed the ball past keeper Stuart Nelson. Both sides had ended 2014 with defeats, but after Bradley Dack intercepted Richard Duffy's crossfield ball and set up the equaliser for Cody MacDonald, the Gills would have hoped to go on and extend their away record to 4 without defeat. But Vale had other ideas and scored again in stoppage time. Colin Daniel found the net for the first time in 8 games to hand Vale a 3rd win in 5.
Scored 4 times for Bristol City. They beat Gillingham 4-2 in the first leg of the Johnstone's Paint Trophy Southern Area final. Gillingham claimed an early lead. Michael Doherty setting up Cody MacDonald to make it 1-0 after 6 minutes. Bristol City were only behind for 12 minutes before Matt Smith, who's on loan from Fulham, made it 1-1. They then went in front before half-time as J. Emmanuel Thomas set up Smith to score his 2nd. Smith's 3rd goal came 5 minutes into the second half, back heeling into the nets. Very cheeky, beyond the reach of Stuart Nelson for his first professional hat-trick. Gillingham brought a goal back with 20 minutes to go. MacDonald scored his 2nd of the night to make it 3-2. Smith then scored his and Bristol City's 4th to put them in control of the tie going into the 2nd leg. And Ash Gates with another cracking goal.
A couple of the goals tonight were our fault. You know, we've given them the goals, although they've finished them quite well, but they've come from our mistakes. So yeah, you know, it's only halfway. The tie is only halfway done. We're going to go down there, and we'll have a go down there. We've got nothing to lose now going down there, and it's not over. And we'll continue to work towards that, and hopefully we'll get something out of it.
Crewe's defeat to Gillingham in August left them bottom without a single point from their opening 5 games, but their loan signings have given them real hope of beating the drop. Uche Ikpeazu, borrowed from Watford, won the penalty that Nicky Ajose duly converted. The striker has just extended his stay from Leeds. And 5 minutes later, Stoke loanee Jamie Ness sent over the free kick that 3 red shirts were desperate to get on the end of. Ajose wheeled away in celebration, although Harry Davis took the credit. Gillingham still searching for a new manager following Peter Taylor's sacking on New Year's Eve. We're hoping to avoid a 4th defeat in 5 and found a way back into the match early in the second half. Bradley Dack with the decisive touch on the line to give the Kent club hope of a turnaround, which never materialised. 6 minutes from the end, Ikpeazu sealed Crewe's 3rd win in 4 games. The big man proving too strong for Max Amer, and having seen his first effort blocked, he even got away with an apparent use of an arm to set himself up for his 2nd attempt. The Gills furious, but Crewe out of the bottom 4.
With his dad Andy in caretaker charge, it was Jake Hessenthaler who went close to giving the home team a spectacular lead. Still minus a full-time manager and on the back of 4 straight defeats, it got worse before it got better for Gillingham. Danny Swanson chopped down by Josh Pritchard. From the spot, Gary Medine was composure personified. The clock read 82 minutes and a 5th home defeat was on the cards until Bradley Dack wriggled free. Ryan Alsop's parry turned home by John Marquis, and this proved a real launch pad. Jermaine McGlashan had come off the bench and made an impact. Ryan Haynes' mistimed challenge, and referee James Lillington pointed to the spot again. And former Sky Blue Cody MacDonald proved deadly. Top corner, turnaround complete. Still time for the Gills to seal the deal through that man McGlashan. His first league goal for the club at the 21st attempt. 3 goals in 12 minutes. Gillingham now just a point behind Coventry.
Gillingham scored 3 goals in the final 10 minutes to beat Coventry last time out, but 2 early ones laid the foundations for further success against Oldham. John Marquis put away the first with just 7 minutes on the clock. And the Millwall loanee was soon darting away for his second, as the Gills went in search of successive league wins for the first time this season. The Kent club off to a flyer, but back at square one just 9 minutes later. Bradley Dack curtailing Connor Brown's surge into the box, leaving Danny Philliskirk to do the honours from 12 yards. Gills keeper Stuart Nelson winning the battle of wits with the Oldham striker, but was powerless to stop Liam Kelly from gobbling up the rebound. Oldham's manager Lee Johnson feels the top four will be difficult to catch, but reckons his team are firmly in the race for the two remaining playoff spots. Dominic Polion's decision to chase down Bradley Garmston's back pass paid off big time. 2-2 with less than half an hour played. But whoever does finally succeed Peter Taylor as Gillingham manager will take heart from the team's recent performances. Midway through the second half, Dack's super volley lifted the Gills 4 points clear of danger.
They got a lot of belief in themselves, the belief to go out and produce chances to win games. They defended very well today at times as well. So I think if you start believing in things, you will do them. And the belief has always been there, and the desire and the will today to defend when we needed to defend was a major factor.
This Johnstone's Paint Trophy Southern Area Final second leg sees Gillingham take on two-time winners Bristol City, live this evening from Ashton Gate.
Here's the threat. Freeman again to deliver. It's a thumping header which thumbs back on the crossbar and then in by Matt Smith. The big bruiser of a striker leaves his calling card pinned to the Gillingham dressing room wall again. He won't be able to play at Wembley, but that could be his parting gift.
Given Bristol City the respect that they do, they are a wonderfully offensive attacking unit. They do get forward very well, as has been evident, and very quickly, as has been very evident so far in this game. It's just you look at the situation now with an hour to go, it's not completely beyond the realms of possibility, but they need to get a goal sometime pretty sharpish to have any hope at all to get back into this tie.
Ayman. That's Martin. Now Dack picking up the pieces after the flick by McDonald. And McGlashan could be in here. It's the moment that Gillingham needed. There may just be a way back for them.
Well, the timing is absolutely perfect. The Gillingham coaching staff will be absolutely delighted that they managed to claw one back at this stage of the game. It's a wonderful ball in from Bradley Dack that just gets in behind Derek Williams in the left area of the defence for Bristol. Great run by McGlashan. It's a wonderful little ball in behind Derek Williams of Bristol City. Lovely placed, and the weight on the pass is fantastic. McGlashan doesn't even need to take a touch, just lift it over the goalkeeper as he comes out.
Well, he may just have picked up an injury. He has done, applying that finish, but we are back to where we started tonight. There's Gavin Hoyt. Pritchard. Now it's Dack. Here's Hessenthaler. Pritchard again. Loft. And Flint commanding.
So I think Gillingham needs to put that extra pass in, lofting it into the box against the big lads of Bristol City. He's not going to do them too many favours. They need to look for that one into feet on the edge of the box. Get someone like a Dack on the ball, or as McDonald pulls off.
Well, there's McGlashan. Dack leaves it, and Fielding manages to turn that away to deny Loft.
What a save this is from Frankie Fielding, keeping his team ahead in this game. It's a great little pullback and a lovely little lead from Dack. Loft, the positioning of the ball, the placing of his shot. Great save from Fielding, on his toes, great tip over the bar.
Randy Hessenthaler did start the game up in the stand. He likes to take an overview of what's going on and then get on the phone and dish out instructions to the other three in the dugout, but Hessenthaler's come down pitch side. No holding back there. Freeman and Hoyt, and the referee shows a yellow card to Luke Freeman.
Initial view of this, it looks like two players going for a full-blooded challenge. Hoyt's obviously not happy with the connection that Freeman's made. You can see absolutely, definitely a booking there, the lunge into him. Because Hoyt's gone so low, but Freeman's gone over the top. One-legged, definitely not a two, it's a trailing leg, but it's that front foot with the studs going into his shin.
Yellow card for that challenge. Hoyt's still on the ground. And in the Tavernier will have a second bite of it. Ayling again, losing out though to Cody MacDonald. Dax to his right, he goes to his left with McGlashan, who's onside. McGlashan! Fielding comes up with the answer again for Bristol City. But this tie is not over. There's Bradley Dack. Almost there. These Bristol City players are creating something special at this club, and now they will get the chance to leave their footprint on football's most famous pitch, Wembley.
Dons are the new leaders of League One after hitting Crewe for 5. Bristol City and Swindon remain a point behind. Sheffield United recovered from League Cup heartbreak to move back into the playoff positions. Yeovil, meanwhile, dropped to the foot of the table. Leyton Orient are second bottom after back-to-back defeats. Crawley go up 2 places after their first win in 14. Scunthorpe and Barnsley were the only other winners.
Right too.
Driving sheep to the market, yeah.
And so 1-1 it was in the end, with Bradley Dack scoring for Gillingham and Ashley Grimes equalising for Walsall, who go to Wembley to face Bristol City. I mean, it's great for Walsall, isn't it?
That's fantastic. It's fantastic for anybody in that competition. You know, it really disappoints you when people don't treat it with the respect it deserves early in the competition. But you know, when you get to the latter stages, everybody wants to be part of it.
Was that a penalty?
Oh, well, it certainly looked it to me.
It wasn't, because the referee didn't give it.
No, exactly. Why did you ask me the question? But they get a bit of luck there. But that's, you know, Johnny on the spot there. You know, just expect.
Gillingham unveiled Newport's Justin Edinburgh as their new manager at lunchtime, and the former Spurs defender was in the posh seats at Priestfield to see his new charges take on Sheffield United, for whom 17-year-old Louis Reed almost scored a first senior goal. The Gills have been managed by a 4-man committee since Peter Taylor's departure, and they came to life after the break. A dexterous volley by Cody MacDonald, worthy of a loftier stage and surely a more glorious fate. And so the game meandered into its closing moments, which was when newly arrived substitute Jermaine McGlashan decided to dictate events. First, he beat goalkeeper Mark Howard to Max Amer's long ball, his 3rd goal in his last 5 appearances. And then in the 4th minute of stoppage time, he created the opportunity for MacDonald to seal the points. The brains trust of Andy Hessenthaler, Steve Lovell, Darren Hare and Mark Patterson hand over the baton, with Gillingham unbeaten in 5.
New Gillingham boss Justin Edinburgh says he's delighted to have got off to a winning start. His new charges pounced first when Bradley Dack scored for the 4th time in his last 6 league games. But Peterborough drew level thanks to a goal that owed much to the determination of Luke James. He found former Gills midfielder Jack Payne, who scored his first goal since September. Unlike the Posh, Gillingham have now got 38 points, 13 of which have been claimed in the last 5 games. And John Marquis ensured that the Edinburgh era got off on the right foot.
To League One now, and having guided Newport County back to the Football League and then into contention for promotion from League Two, Justin Edinburgh decided to take the hot seat at Gillingham. Clem caught up with him as the Gills prepared for the visit of MK Dons.
Some have opportunities thrust upon them, others have to graft for them. Congratulations! Nice to see you. Welcome to your new home.
I know, mate. It's a bit different than the old one, eh?
It certainly is. Justin Edinburgh spent the 1990s in the top flight playing for Spurs, where he won the FA and League Cups. But his management career has mainly been a 12-year schlep around the hills and dales of non-league football. Billericay Town, Fisher Athletic, Grays Athletic, and then the dying embers of Rushton and Diamonds, where he found himself out of work when the club went into liquidation. Now, having restored Newport County to the Football League after a 25-year absence, goodness me, compared to the porter cabin at Newport County.
I feel a little bit flushed today. I'm thinking about living here.
His challenge is to take Gillingham back into the Championship they last graced a decade ago. Why do you think it has taken you so long to get to this kind of level?
I think sometimes British managers at the lower level are certainly overlooked. I think we went through the period and a stage where there was good to bring foreign managers in and maybe stick with the old regime. But I think as we're moving along now, that more and more of us young British managers are getting that opportunity.
First impressions of the new gaffer? Have there been moments when you thought, oh, I'm going to be stuck in non-leagues forever? No disrespect to non-leagues, but...
Oh, without a doubt. I think you have to have that belief, and I think I proved that, and I obviously can withdraw on past experiences from a playing career when I started in the 4th division and made it to the top. So hopefully I can continue that path as a manager.
You like him?
I like him very, very
What were you
much.
going to say if we turned the camera off?
I like him.
We interviewed 14 managers in the end, and they were all, any one of those would have been a good choice for the club. But Justin had that extra little bit. He was. I liked him as a person. His character fitted in with our staff here. I think the players like him very much. He's an up-and-coming young manager that wants to do well in the game and will do well in the game. I think this ship is ready to sail. I mean, we've got rid of all our debt. We have no debt. We own the stadium. We've got cash in the bank. We're in good shape, really, and I think this is probably the best shape we've been in for the last 10 years.
It is Valentine's Day now. You've obviously had a busy week. Have you still done right by Mrs. Edinburgh?
I've delivered 12 red roses this morning. Oh. Table booked for this evening at 8:15, so it looks like I'm in a good books.
He's a real man, isn't he? Eh?
And that man was celebrating another victory as striker Cody MacDonald made it 7 goals in 7 games. He topped their scoring charts last season and is on course to repeat that feat. Devante Cole had previously started just the one match for MK Dons. Manager Carl Robinson decided the time was right for Cole to play from the start, and the decision was fully justified. Bradley Dack is another Gills player enjoying a productive season. He showed commendable composure to restore their single goal advantage. A striker full of confidence in a side showing clear signs of improvement. MacDonald came close to scoring his second, only the post prevented him from claiming a brace. Once again the MK Dons rallied. They'd been beaten at Bradford City on Monday night. The management team was looking for a response. Carl Baker was brought down by Gavin Hoyt to earn the visitors a penalty. And Ben Reeves made the spot kick count to bring them level. No shortage of confidence. For the second time in the match, Carl Robinson's players had illustrated their ability to fight back from a losing position. A week ago, Edinburgh watched from the stands as his Gillingham team won at the expense of Sheffield United. And they rounded off a productive 7 days. Bradley Garmston with their 3rd goal and a first for the on-loan full-back. John Marquis completed the scoring. Since joining on loan from Millwall, he's been another forward to find some form in front of goal. And for the first time this season, the MK Dons had suffered successive defeats.
Wow, since your unveiling, 3 wins out of 3. You couldn't ask much more, could you?
No, fantastic game, really good game. Very open and great result for us, Clem, and really pleased for the players out there to give everything today, really did.
Wow, and you must feel so much better. The nerves beforehand all dissipate. What a way to get to know the locals.
Yeah, no, obviously fantastic. Obviously won away in a week, but to win your first home game against such a very good MK Don's side was a fantastic victory and really gives us the belief now for the rest of the season.
Well done there, and a night out with Mrs. Edinburgh I look forward to as well. Cheers, mate.
Bad day for the top three in League One, with all of them suffering defeats. In fact, the only team in the top 10 at the start of the day to win was Sheffield United, while Gillingham are into the top half for the first time since September.
Yeovil know that every week that passes without a win is damaging, but the bottom club started promisingly enough. Sam Foley's free kick found its way to Gotsi Ugwo, and Gillingham's defence paid the price after 21 minutes. Moments later, the home side could have been further ahead. James Barrett released Ugwo, and the result was James Hayter in prime position to score from not one, but two chances. Crucially, neither was taken. And that proved costly. Gillingham struck early in the second half. Cody McDonald's free kick was too hot for Artur Krysiak, and John Marquis was quickest to the rebound. With the game seemingly heading for a draw, Yeovil then found themselves undone with 3 minutes remaining. Luke Norris had only just been sent on as a substitute, but his finish was expert. Manager Justin Edinburgh was on course for another win. Yet Yeovil's mission survival found an unlikely hero in another substitute. Joel Grant was brought down in stoppage time. Penalty. And Adam Morgan stepped up to take it. His celebrations revealed a sense of relief and achievement, but Terry Skiverton's team remain 5 points from safety.
New Barnsley boss Lee Johnson couldn't have picked a more difficult first fixture than Gillingham if he tried. The home side unbeaten in their previous 7 league games, but his new players responded really well and netted the only goal of the match 11 minutes into the second half. Stuart Nelson unable to hold a low shot from Ben Pearson, and George Waring took great care in sticking away the loose ball. The Gills have been brilliant since Justin Edinburgh took over the reins, but they failed to take a couple of respectable chances to equalise. Gavin Hoyt's shot expertly kept out by Adam Davis, but Jermaine McGlashan was too high from the rebound. He had a chance to make amends for the miss late on, but fair play to Davis, and his save meant a great start for Johnson, but a first defeat for Edinburgh.
Bristol City move 8 points clear at the top of League One, with MK Dons losing 3 of the last 5. Preston are up to third after a stunning February with 5 wins in 5 without conceding. The only side in the bottom 6 at the start of the weekend to lose was Colchester, who dropped back into the relegation zone. Managerless Coventry picked up their first win in 8 to move out of the bottom 4, while Leyton Orient's recent revival continues. A third win in 4 moves them to within a point of safety.
Swindon's recent slump continues. This was their 4th defeat in 6 games. They were undone by a virtuoso performance from Gillingham's Cody McDonald. His impudent flick opened the scoring. McDonald was causing more problems for Swindon before finding Bradley Dack, who crossed for Jake Hessenthaler to make it 2. McDonald wasn't finished there. 2 minutes from time from Stuart Nelson's long clearance. Another moment of genius from McDonald to complete an impressive win for Gillingham.
Doncaster's playoff form has dipped recently, but spirits rose like Harry Forrester's free kick just before half-time. He'd only just come on as a substitute. You wonder how much the free kick's distance will grow with every telling. But Gillingham's improvement under Justin Edinburgh was emphasised with an equaliser moments later. Doug Loft lived up to his name, and John Marquis crashed in his 7th goal in 10 games. Doncaster could have snatched the game in the second half when Andy Butler directed his header into the path of Curtis Main, but his aim was not what manager Paul Dickoff would have wanted.
Bristol City had beaten the Gills 3 times already, including success in the JP Trophy, where they'll contest the final with Walsall next weekend. The leaders look well in control, and after a goalless first half, they continue to lay siege to their opponent's goal. Aaron Wilbraham a whisker away from breaking the deadlock. Gillingham, still harbouring hopes themselves of a top 6 push, were hanging on. Luke Freeman managed to weave his way to the byline, and when Luke Ayling set his sights, he was way off target. The home side's sense of frustration was almost compounded as the Kent club attempted to hit them on the counter-attack. Luke Norris found room for a shot, which Bradley Dack touched home, but the offside flag ruled out the prospect of a smash and grab.
Chesterfield are a win away from the playoff pack after a quick start. Saw them 2-0 up against Gillingham after only 12 minutes. Sam Klukas started the scoring. It was a strong response from the Spirites, who'd lost at the weekend at home to Coventry. Jay O'Shea also scored in that defeat. This time the 26-year-old was on the winning side. The Gills are halfway between the relegation and the playoff places, and they've won just one of the last 6. They conceded again when Klukas got his 10th of the season in league.
Second from bottom Colchester arrived more in hope than expectation at Gillingham, who had form and momentum on their side. But the visitors had the edge in their head tennis competition, and that was the platform for their opener from George Moncur. Their advantage lasted until the 82nd minute, when a Doug Loft free kick was given the subtle treatment by Max Amer and parity was restored. But that seemed only to inspire the visitors to even greater heights, and a Matt Briggs cross found the head of Chris Porter, and the travelling faithful went potty with 3 minutes to go. Those celebrations were to prove premature. First, Gillingham knocked on the door and the crossbar when Gavin Hoyt was denied by the woodwork, and then Sam Walker made a super save from John Marquis. Colchester's rearguard action became even more desperate when Briggs was sent off for a second yellow card as injury time and the final whistle beckoned. Indeed, there was still time for one last attack, and in the 6th minute of injury time, Loft chose the perfect moment to score his first league goal for Gillingham. It left Colchester crushed, but the home side have now only lost once in their last 14.
Crawley are back in the relegation zone after ending their mini revival. Bradley Dack opened the scoring for Gillingham just before half-time. Midway through the second half, Crawley were level. Almost inevitably, it was Isel McLeod, his 17th in the league. He continues to impress in a struggling side, but while chasing a winner, they were caught out. Dack, this time the provider for Jermaine McGlashan. Dean Saunders called it a slap in the face for Crawley, but what they deserved.
Are now 10 points adrift of safety, but there's a battle on to avoid the other 3 places, that's for sure. Crewe jump out of the bottom 4, up 3 to 18th, as Crawley fall back in on goal difference. Bristol City lead Preston by 10 and Swindon by 14, but have played more games. Rochdale replace Peterborough in the top 6, but 3 clubs are on 56 points, and only 3 points separates 6th from Fleetwood in 12th.
Gillingham hadn't won at home since Valentine's Day. Their manager, Justin Edinburgh, will have been distinctly unimpressed with the way his defenders failed to deal with the danger. Gareth Evans, making his 100th Fleetwood appearance, made it an occasion to remember. The Gills couldn't find a way through. Bradley Dack's free kick was headed goalwards by Aaron Morris, but Chris Maxwell remained unbeaten, and Fleetwood could celebrate a significant success.
Very tough place to come, Gillingham. You never get anything for free, and I thought we had to earn the 3 points today. And you know, it's, we got our noses in front and then showed great discipline and management to
for Gillingham. And you know, I suppose a blip in many respects. Or having said that, I suppose your home form at the minute is something that you're quite wary about, isn't it, Justin?
Yeah, it's a bit of a concern. I think we've only took 2 points from the last 12, 2 draws and 2 defeats in that time. And I think if you're going to be successful in any league, your home forms is very, very important. And the goal we give away is very, very poor. They had ample opportunity to clear our box. But credit to Fleetwood, they're on the front foot there and dispatched the chance very well.
I know you probably might not agree with me, Justin, but you know, you went there when the club were 20th. You're 14th at the minute. So, you know, I suppose the security is there now for this season. How have you enjoyed it, your first couple of months at Priestfield?
I've had a fantastic time. Really pleased. I think the whole football club is very family orientated, and it suits me. It was the next step on the ladder. You know, I've obviously been a manager for 9 years now.
Yeah, I was going to say it's been a long ladder, isn't it?
Yeah, right. It's a very, very long one. Started right at the bottom of the pyramid at Billericay Town. I made my way to Newport for a couple of other clubs, and had a fantastic 3.5 years at Newport. Taking it back into the Football League, something that will be special to me, it will remain with me, and I left them in a good position in the playoffs. But like I say, I've just felt that Gillingham was the next step, and it's a big club, well supported, and I feel that again I can grow the club and take them on.
Crawley's win meant the pressure was on the teams around them to generate the same kind of momentum. Orient have been doing just that with 2 wins in their last 3, and when Ryan Hedges was tripped by Max Amer, it meant a chance for Lloyd James to convert from the penalty spot, which he duly did. By contrast, confidence has been fairly thin on the ground for Gillingham, who've only won twice in their last 9 matches. But Justin Edinburgh's side roused themselves and hit back through Jermaine McGlashan 4 minutes later. The equaliser seemed to work its magic because suddenly it was all one-way traffic from the visitors. And in top scorer Cody MacDonald, they possess a class finisher. That goal number 17 of the season. An Orient drama turned into a full-blown crisis early in the second half when Shane Lowry deposited Luke Norris on the floor with a challenge that had a hint of WrestleMania about it. MacDonald stepped up to register his second of the match with a penalty that almost burst the net, and the home side were in trouble. With backs well and truly against walls, they responded with 2 goals, both from former Gillingham players. Darius Henderson scored the first of them, despite the best efforts of Glenn Morris to give the Matchroom Stadium much-needed hope. Henderson was again involved in another incisive passing move which almost brought the equaliser. The ball found its way to Orient skipper Joby McAnuff, but he could only find the foot of the post. But for the second game in succession, Josh Wright came to the party for the East London side. His winner at Coventry last week provided 3 valuable points, and who knows how important that equaliser will be in the final reckoning. For now, it keeps them out of the relegation zone.
Bradford manager Phil Parkinson had described the trip to Gillingham as the biggest game of their season, a sizable statement given the Bantams Cup exploits in recent months. But the Gills weren't about to meander to mid-table obscurity. Jermaine McGlashan's persistence in vain as Cody MacDonald failed to gobble up the opportunity. On loan Millwall striker John Marquise won it for the hosts as he thumped home the 8th goal of his Priestfield spell, powerful enough to deceive even the more experienced camera operators. Bradford's playoff hopes now hanging by a thread.
Preston extended their unbeaten run in League One to 15 matches, but allowed a lead to slip for the second straight game. Jermaine Beckford put them in front, his 10th goal of the campaign. And it looked like they were coasting to victory when Callum Robinson made it 2 in first half stoppage time. But were there signs of nerves in Preston's second half performance? The mid-table Gills pulled a goal back when Jermaine McGlashan slotted in his 3rd goal in 5 matches. And the body blow came in stoppage time. Josh Pritchard with the cross to Leon Legg, whose looping header saw Preston's cushion in second place cut to just 3 points. It could be close.
Rochdale came into the weekend still with an outside chance of making the playoffs, but Bradley Dack's towering header set Gillingham on the way to consecutive home wins. Dale's top scorer Ian Henderson attempted to spearhead a fight back, but when his cross came back off the post, it was Jamie Allen who was shut out inside the Gillingham box. But from then on, the game turned a little spiteful. Cody MacDonald latching onto a sloppy Tom Kennedy back pass just past the hour, and the ref had little choice but to show the red card to Dale keeper Jamie Jones. And inside another 7 minutes, Rochdale allowed their frustration to get the better of them again. Matty Lund making his first appearance since Boxing Day, thundering into goalscorer Dack, and Rochdale were on the way to a 7th defeat in their last 9 away games.
Scunthorpe's League One status still wasn't secure as Gillingham arrived with nothing much to play for apart from the possibility of making life awkward for the home side, which they duly did when Luke Norris struck with aplomb. Just one win in their previous 5 had left the home side looking anxiously over their shoulders, but thanks to the trickery of Hakeeb Adelarkoon, who it seems can score and do a handy cartwheel, they were a step closer guaranteeing League One football next season. Indeed, the home side were singing in the torrential rain shortly afterwards when Gary McSheffrey showed his neat finishing skills and a half-decent aquaplane to boot. Such was the intensity of this April shower that Glanford Park turned into a pudding in places, and referee Andy Haynes was forced to call a halt to proceedings. When they returned, Norris gave Scunthorpe the fright of their lives, but Luke Daniels was equal to it, and the Irons will be in League One next season.
A lot of clubs down the bottom there.
There certainly will be. So this is the situation at the top of League One, which we've by and largely covered today. Of course, it looks like that. Well, that is the playoff picture. I suppose it's all between, in terms of permutations, who plays who. While out at the other end, well, this is where it gets hugely intriguing. It's any 3 of 6 sides.
And obviously still Colchester to play that game in hand. So, you know, if Colchester get a point, and as we said, it drags a couple more into it, and it gives them, an opportunity there.
Notts County had their destiny in their own hands. A win would guarantee survival, but Gillingham were not in the mood to do them any favours. John Marquis soon reminded them of that. Theoretically, a point might have been enough for the Magpies, but that was a risk not worth taking. So when Graham Burke smashed them in front on the hour, over 3,000 travelling fans could hardly contain themselves. But the defensive frailties that have plagued their season resurfaced just 2 minutes from the end. John Egan allowed to rise unchallenged to head in a cross from Doug Loft, which plunged Notts back into the bottom 4. The trapdoor was now wide open, and 2 minutes into stoppage time, the writing was on the wall. Brennan Dickinson hammering another nail into the coffin. County's capitulation bringing their 5-year stay in the 3rd tier to a dramatic close. Just 4 wins since the turn of the year illustrates just how bad things have got for the East Midlands club. This time there would be no repeat of last season's final day escape. Luke Norris added a 3rd, with County's fate already sealed.
For Notts County, 12 months on after what they did under Sean Derry, it wasn't to be this time round, and they let it slip after 88 minutes. I mean, this was some collapse from them, wasn't it?
It was a collapse, and it kind of summed up their season. Sean saved them from relegation last season. Obviously, they dispensed with his services recently, and they just never had the staying power, not only within games, but within the season. And here you see Gillingham scoring 3 late goals in the space of 3 or 4 minutes. Maybe they were going for it, maybe they were maybe on the front foot, but, you know, it's a season they'll want to forget.
For Leyton Orient as well, their 9 seasons stay in the 3rd tier also came to...
So Yeovil were already down. Leyton Orient and Crawley joined them at the weekend, as did Notts County, who dropped into the bottom 4 on that final day. Bristol City collect the title on 99 points. MK Dons overtake Preston to go up automatically. They scored 101 goals in the league. Preston into the playoffs with Swindon, Sheffield United and Chesterfield.
Two-footed corner challenge of 2015. Taking part this week, the lads at Gillingham. Game on! Taking on the two-footed corner challenge this week are Gillingham's Brennan Dickinson, Danny Kedwell and Bradley Dack. Here are your rules. You've got to score directly from a corner with your left foot and then do the same with your right. The ball cannot bounce before entering the goal. The player who achieves this in the fewest attempts is the winner. Oh, the gaffer's here, and he's brought a vet with him for some reason.
Alright, DK.
Kicking things off on his weaker left foot is Danny. Game on!
Go on! Oh, DK. That's your foot.
It's not the best. Oh, he's gone big. Channels!
That's it. There it is!
That looks good. It is good.
Make sure that's in there. So that's on the line.
Bradley, left foot, you're up.
Bradley,
No!
He's giving that some, isn't he? Hey! We all like to say that, don't we? Where's that gone?
There it is.
That's better. Well done, Bradley. Superb technique. Finally, on his strong left peg is Brennan. Oh, what's going on with them gloves? Bit Gardener's world for my liking. Someone's had too many fruit shoots.
Oh no!
Come on, Brennan. Salt it.
Yeah, come on, Brennan. Come off for a pint with a vet.
Oh, he's in a post!
That's better. Yes! Well done, Brennan. Half-time scores have been calculated, and I can reveal that Brennan is in third with 20. Danny lies second with 11, but Bradley is out in front with 5. On to the right feet now. First up, it's Brennan.
Oh! Yes. There it is, there it is. Oh my God, it's hit the back bar. Yes!
Oh, that is unfortunate.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes!
Got it!
Yes! Come on!
He's pleased with that, isn't he? Well done, Brennan. Danny, you're up on your strong right foot. Right, let's make it interesting. Get this in and I'll gift you some iTunes vouchers. Yes! Whose album are you going to buy?
Try that, mate.
Good choice. Yeah, I actually think they're going to do all right even without Jason. Bradley, right foot, let's see what you've got. Oh, he was off. He was wheeling away, wasn't he?
There it is.
Oh, well, that is in. No question about that. Very nonchalant. Well done, Bradley. Top draw corner challenge fun from Gillingham, and the result is in. Brennan finishes third with a disappointing 49. Danny is the runner-up with 13, but Bradley is top dog with 7. Good effort, lads. Yeah, good effort, lads, and only one player has achieved two-footed corner challenge perfection to date. That's Port Vale's Tom Pope. He's done it in 2. A few on 3. If anybody... Good sense of the stands, Justin. Not massively happy about it, I've got to be honest. Because of the rain. I would have done it out there, but you didn't fancy it, did you?
I had the wet top on everything. I normally suited and booted. I've gone for the training ground gear, but you wouldn't want to be down there, to be honest.
Not really.
Certainly the home one's all right, but...
What's going on with the away one there? You got Lee Johnson coming here, making his managerial debut for Barnsley.
He could be sinking in there, couldn't he?
Well, you've got a nice little bit of AstroTurf.
Well, we've got the AstroTurf down there, but we had Carl Robinson here last week, and he took the first half up in the stand. Well, he didn't last very long, about 20 minutes into the game. He ran down the stairs and into the technical area and nearly went over, yeah.
Oh, that'd have been terrible, wouldn't it? That'd have been horrible, no. Is there a technical area etiquette that the managers follow, like unwritten do's and don'ts?
No, I don't think there is. I think you try and gain any advantage you can, and that may seem, you know, incorrect, but I think I know certain teams that will rotate their staff to get into the fourth official, to get into the assistant referee, you know, 15, 20 minutes at a time, so it's not the same person that maybe get removed from the technical area. I suppose everyone looks at it as gaining an advantage, really.
As a full-back, if things weren't going your way, there was an opportunity, maybe there was a tackle, you could go in, you could smash someone.
I like the way you kept saying about tackle, not a through ball, or a cross or a goal.
I've seen you play, mate. I've seen you play. You could go and, like you say, you could affect it and maybe get a bit of release from it there, but how do you kind of harness your emotions in there?
It's hard. I will be honest. I go home after a game and I'm exhausted. I am more exhausted mentally than I did when I played.
Do you remember your first game as a manager? You were player manager, weren't you, at the time?
Billericay Town, yeah, I do. And I thought it was going to be a breeze. We went to Aylesbury. We were 2-0 up at half-time. Ended up losing 3-2. I don't know why I'm still here.
You've managed at every level apart from the top 2 leagues, is that correct?
Yep, that is right.
During that time, is there one decision you've made while standing in a technical area that stands out?
No, not really in terms of that, so I need to make one, don't I? To be fair, it's funny that I was announced manager here on the Sheffield United game, and I watched from the next level up, which was obviously quite nice, but still got involved. And I was sitting with Andy Essenthaler, and Stevie Lovell rang up and said, like, it was 0-0, what you're thinking? And they were going to change that, and I said, well, put McGlashan on. He come on and scored one and set one up, so...
There you go.
I suppose I'm probably better off sitting up there than standing there and making better decisions.
Right, this is the Fantasy Football Club, so I'm going to give you a scenario, right? You're the Spurs manager. It's the League Cup final. You're playing Leicester. The 63 minutes gone, your left back, good player, having a good game. He's retaliated.
Yeah.
He's retaliated to a challenge, like called Robbie Savage. Savage, he's gone down. He's gone down, so the left back's obviously walloped him. He's obviously given him a big hit. He's gone, he's sent off, your full back. What's your reaction, Gaffer?
Probably can't repeat what I would say, but I'll be thinking, right, okay, I'll deal with him after the game, because he is now, or possibly let us down. And now I'm looking for our players to dig deep. I'm looking for a hero. I'm looking for someone who's Scandinavian, blonde hair, who's going to go in the last minute and score a diving header. That's what I'm looking at. And then probably let that left back off any fines or problems after the game because we've won the cup. And that's what George Graham done. I'm not sure I would have done the same. I mean, I'd have gone in that dressing room, ripped that left back's head off, fine him 2 weeks' wages. But obviously, no, it'd be an interesting scenario. Hopefully, Pochettino ain't in that position, and Spurs can hopefully get the same result as we did against Leicester.
Superb. Good to see you as well, mate. All the best, mate.